Okay, so now that you know how to assess the student using either a global evaluation or using a discussion, now we're going to talk about the biweekly report, and this is how everything kind of gets reported back to me as a clinical coordinator. You are going to meet every other week with your student. Now, these reports are due back to me on Wednesdays, so most people will probably meet on like a Monday or Tuesday, talk about their prior 2 weeks, and then the student is responsible for handing me in the biweekly report. The top part of the form, which I'm going to show you in a second, the student fills out, hands it to you prior to your meeting, or gets it to you prior to your meeting, and basically it's a reflection of their 2 weeks and how they felt they did. At the bottom, you reflect on the 2 weeks and how everything went, and then you plan ahead for the next 2 weeks. So this happens every other week. It's bi-weekly. There are usually 7 or 8 of them, depending on how the academic calendar works out. Some rotation. So really, nothing should be going on in a rotation that I'm not really aware of. I don't like it, or when all of a sudden I hear at the end of the year, hey, we had this issue the whole time, when nothing was being reported on the biweekly. So this is a chance for both you as the preceptor and as a student to have an open and frank conversation about how the clinical rotation is going. So this is how the biweekly looks, and you can see the top part right here. The student's going to fill in this top part with their 2 weeks in terms of what they did in clinical or practice or games and how many hours they had. And then any discussion that they did, they will list here in dates, so you can check to make sure that, yeah, we did that discussion or we didn't. Any of their submissions will be marked right here. And again, the submissions are something that I will look for. And then the global evaluations, because we're doing them electronically, hopefully, will automatically be generated, so I don't have to worry about them listing them on the biweekly. But here comes the reflection part. And what we're doing is we're doing a modified SWOT analysis. You know SWOT. This is the student is going to self-reflect on their strengths, self-reflect on their weaknesses, and then their ability to be engaged during the rotation. What I mean by that is how were they those last 2 weeks? Now, life happens and we get that, but I want the student to be able to self-reflect on that and say, you know, I had a lot of exams, so I wasn't really thinking about my clinicals, or I had a family issue, or etc. Or I was really engaged, I was there early, I stayed a little bit late, you know, I really was on top of my clinical rotations. And then finally, their goals for the next 2 weeks. What do they think they want to do next 2 weeks? And you're going to do the same thing. The strengths of the student, the weaknesses of the student, and how you judge how much they were engaged during rotation. And if this is different, that needs to be a discussion between the two of you. Because if the student is thinking that they were very much engaged and you as a preceptor think they weren't, that's a breakdown. And we need to make sure that we work on how we can improve that and why the perceptions are different. And again, you as a preceptor, your goals for the next 2 weeks. You both will discuss it, assign data, and again, this comes back to me as coordinator. I go through them all. I make comments on them. I give comments, and if I have to intervene, I will. But that is a biweekly report. So when it comes to paperwork, your real main paperwork are going to be your global evaluations and your biweekly reports. I highly recommend that you go and schedule a biweekly that you're going to meet, say, every Tuesday, the week that the biweekly is due at 12 o'clock, and you'll talk about the biweekly so they can be submitted to me on time on Wednesday. The student is responsible for this, so please understand that. Other types of evaluations, we do a mid and end of rotation evaluation for both the preceptor, the student, and the clinical site. So the student will assess you as a preceptor, and they will assess their clinical site, and you as a preceptor will flip back and assess the student both at the midterm and the end of rotation. This should be a little bit more in depth than the biweekly reports. There are a whole list of different questions, making sure that the students are meeting the competencies that are set forth by Katie and meeting our standards. We don't want to wait to address a problem. I prefer to be a little bit hands-off. I really like it when the student and the preceptor can work through any sort of situations on their own. I think that's a very good professional development for the student, because you're not going to get along with everybody, and you might hit a little bit of a bump. So for having the student to be able to engage and work through issues, I think is a huge professional development. However, as the clinical coordinator, I am always there, and we can do various things to make sure that the setting between the student and the preceptor is working as smoothly as possible. There are incident reports that you can file on the students, and we can dismiss the student, although those are last case scenarios. We prefer not to do that, but every now and then things don't work out the way we want them to. The student responsibilities, they are basically responsible responsible for everything, paperwork, supplying you with the needed materials, etc. You're really a facilitator and a resource, but they are responsible for their learning. So if they prefer to sit like a lump on the log, which we don't want, obviously, and not engage in their rotation, you can mention that on the BiWeekly Report, and you can tell them, look, this education is up to you. You're going to get into it you're going to get out of it what you put into it. Students should provide copies with the objectives early. I will be sharing you a copy off the Google Drive, and always make sure you communicate your expectations. And if you didn't communicate something and something comes up, use it as a teachable moment. Say, you know what, I didn't address it at the beginning of the rotation. I should have, but moving forward, this is the new policy, or this is my new expectation. All right? So going through how we kind of run things, it's going to be confusing the first couple of times you do it. I get that, so I'm obviously here to answer any questions. The students, especially if you're a new preceptor, for a new student, you guys might be frowning a little bit, but please utilize me as much as possible. If you're a new preceptor with a second-year student, they've done all of this, so they're going to be a fantastic resource in terms of how you can go about and how you navigate our paperwork, etc. Basically, if you have any questions, email is going to be the best way to get in touch with me, but there is my office number. I'm going to actually give you my cell number also, area code 516-313-2010, area code 516-313-2010. Feel free to text me or call me if you have any issues. Just as an FYI, I don't have any data plan on my cell phone, so if you send me any sort of group message or picture or anything like that, I won't get it because I can't access that without a data plan. But feel free to email me. I check my email multiple times at night when I'm home, and obviously all day long. So if you have any questions, please do not hesitate to ask me. And finally, I just really want to thank you. You guys are vital to our success as an entry-level master's and as a program in general. And you are members and pillars of the community, and the more that we can outreach and network and get into the community, hopefully we can represent both UNCG, your establishment, your business, etc. as well, as much as we can. The link again is in the comment section here on YouTube. You must click that and complete that to be verified as a preceptor. You will be compensated financially for this. Dr. Scott Ross will be emailing you about all those type of things. But again, we do thank you for helping us out. If you have any questions, please feel free, but congratulations. After you complete the quiz, you are UNCG's newest preceptor. I look forward to working with you for many years, and best of luck to you.